you want to play around with some non-planar layer lines using Blender, here's what I do. Import some Gcode that you sliced. Simpler the better. Sometimes it needs a little bit of editing first, neaten up some of the parts. Make sure connected only is selected. Bring it up so that they're all separated nicely. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just stops it from overlapping too much. Once you've got the Gcode in, you can start sculpting directly on your Gcode. You can push it and pull it, create effects. You might find this ends up breaking your Gcode sometimes. I think the best way of doing it is going back into edit mode, add another object, but I want to add it in the same location. To do that, I select the bottom ring, cursor to selected, mesh, cylinder, tab, G, 1, Z, bring it up to the base layer. Back in object mode, I can scale it up to the correct height. Tab back into edit mode, add some lines, give it some more geometry. Try and get them square as possible. Select the central ring and scale it out on X and Y only. Bring your circle up so it matches your Gcode. Doesn't have to be perfect, but the closer it is, the better. Select the top, select the bottom, X, faces, delete. Now you've got a surface you can sculpt on. I'm going to turn the colors to random so you can see the two surfaces overlapping. What I'll do next is I'll select your cylinder and I want to add multi-resolution modifier. Subdivide 4 or 5 times. I'll divide it 5 times. My computer can handle it. Okay, so now we've got a subdivide surface and another Gcode surface. So now I select the Gcode and I can go deform, surface deform, select my cylinder, bind them together. Now when you select the cylinder and move a face, it's linked to the Gcode. You can move the Gcode without having to directly touch it. Sculpt what you want and it'll appear on your Gcode. If you don't like your sculpt, because you're on multi-resolution modifier, you can always erase. You can also erase by removing the levels on the multi-resolution modifier. Bring the sculpt down to 0, click delete higher, then subdivide back to 5. Make sure it's back to the same number that you linked it to originally, otherwise it won't match. If I go back to layout, click on the Gcode. If I click on the cylinder and bring the viewport layer is the one that it links to. So if you bring it down to 4 and you click back here, it says the target vertices and don't match. Bring it to 5, now it matches again. So you want to create some non-planar layers. Even without sculpting, you can do some simple tricks. Select the cylinder. I select the cylinder so you can see it more easily. Go into vertex select mode. Select 1, select 2, select 3, select 4. Scale. If you switch it to viewport display wireframe. Now you can see some interesting layers that go up and down as well as round and round. You can create all sorts of shapes doing this. If that's not enough and you want to create some patterns on your surface as well, that's pretty easy. Tab into your Gcode, switch to face mode, select a face, select links, check a deselect, choose the amount you want to deselect, choose the amount you want to select, find the pattern you'd like, create a vertex group, assign your selection to the vertex. As long as you have vertex group weight selected, when you deselect the group, you can still see where they're being affected by your group. Tab back into object mode. Now a lattice. Scale it up to about the size of your design. Move it into place. In edit mode, scale around Z. Bring it out a little bit. Doesn't matter exactly. We can always change it later. Now create another modifier underneath the surface deform. Deform lattice. Object lattice. Vertex group. Group. Now you've got a pattern. Now you've got a pattern you can add to your Gcode. You can change the amount it affects. You can even change the direction, putting in a minus number. When you've got a pattern you like and you've got a shape you like, you can preview more accurately how it'll look by adding a solidify modifier. Make the thickness of your layer lines. Mine's 5. Make sure the offset's 0 so it's in the center. Now you can see the thickness of your design. To make it a little bit more smooth, you can add the subdivision modifier as well. This makes it look a little bit closer to the layer lines, the extrusion as it's coming out. There you have. To send it to the printer, select the Gcode object, apply your modifiers, apply surface deform, apply lattice, delete the solidify, delete the subdivision. They're nothing to do with the Gcode, they're just for your preview. Select your object, apply all transforms. Mainly this is location and scale. You need to have your origin at the world origin. The build surface is represented by the plus X and Y axis of your environment. So now it knows where to put your pot. Go back to Nozzleboss, export Gcode. Drag it into Prusa Slicer so it's got a good preview. I'm printing on a piece of gypsum board because it lasts quite well and it's cheap to buy and easy to cut to the right shape. So look at those pretty layer lines. They're all wavy, little bubbles.